Catus Maximus here. Just another video documenting old tools, just because I kind of like that, and it's one of the variances. I do new tools, I do ratchets, lots of complicated tools, power tools here and there. Don't get those as often. A lot of it's just running into randomly hand tools. So I've done a few on drum brake pliers. These are combination pliers, but without a spring remover. They do have a spring installer. These are Proto 215s. So I kind of thought, well, these are a nice, not very rusty set of Proto brake string pliers. But these are definitely light duty. I don't think I would actually even trust these on something like, you know, diesel pickup truck drum brakes. Those have some pretty stout springs in them, and this Proto's a little bit thin. And the reason I say that is I've done a few other videos. I have a Calvan USA and a Craftsman USA, and we can see these. I mean, first, big wide jaws on this style so that they don't deflect. Really heavy duty. Second thing is, if we look at the thickness of the handles versus the thickness on the Craftsman, Craftsmans are actually a bit thicker, the same with the Calvans. And then if we look at the overall length, we got a bit more length on these two. Actually, if we align the bottom jaw a couple more inches, plus both the Calvan and the Craftsman include spring removal tools as well as spring installation tools. And so I find that just a little bit odd, although it's not too bad actually popping the spring off. It still seems a little bit odd that Proto wouldn't include that, considering that they are Proto. It's supposed to be professional tools. So anyway, these are just kind of a little bit more compact, a little bit lighter weight duty and lighter duty brake drum spring pliers, and they're from Proto, and so I just wanted to do a little video about them. To tell you the truth, even though these actually are pretty cheap on eBay, like 10 bucks or something, you'd still be better off with one of these more premium ones that has the install hook as well as the spring remover, and it's just a bit heavier duty. It makes the operation a little bit easier. We can also see here that the alignment isn't super great. These may be a little bit warped or bent just because they are so thin. Somebody probably used them on too big of a set of brakes, too big of a spring. Other than that, not a lot else to say. It was kind of like, wow, these are some neat old Protos, but my goodness, they're actually pretty light duty considering it's Proto. One thing I will mention is I actually kind of like the hot rivet. This hot, you know, most of these types of tools, they use the same type of plier bolt where you have like either a prevailing torque, like a kind of like a lock nut, a prevailing torque nut, and then they use a special fastener that has a shelf on it. So you torque this down, and then it wants to not come loose, but there's no real reason to take apart a pair of these pliers. So I kind of like the fact that there's a hot rivet and there's nothing to unscrew and nothing to worry about. Just once again, surprisingly, this kind of thin and light duty. Maybe these are really for like motorcycle, you know, there's lots of motorcycles and scooters. Actually, I think even to this day, they use various forms of drum type brakes, but it's more like small passenger vehicles is what you would use these for. And maybe that's the purpose, is to just be a little bit more compact, because that's the only thing I can think of. I don't think Proto actually even makes the Series 215 anymore, and maybe because everybody was using them on too heavy a duty brakes and was bending them. That's the only way to say it. One thing I will mention is the brake installation hook. You hook the spring over this arm, it goes over a little post, and then when you lift it up you can slide the spring onto the post. I will say that that's a forged little end, and I like that. It has a deep cut, nice hook. This actually has a pretty nice shape to it. That's one thing I'll criticize about these other ones here, is that their brake install hooks, they're okay, but I will say that this Proto one here is a little bit more, has a little bit better definition, a little bit better shape, a little bit deeper cup in it, so it will sit on the post just a little bit easier. So I'll give them credit for that, as well as the hot rivet. But man, surprisingly light duty set of pliers with the Proto name on it. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.